I don't like introducing a change to code that causes lots of places to break and chasing after the errors. I'd rather use a default argument temporarily so that everything is happy and then figure it out from there. All right, let's go. Welcome to the Quality Coding live stream. Hello, Mudshark. Hello, Grant. And it's good to have you. The other folks, hopefully we'll get more folks as time goes on. For folks who are watching on YouTube, not live, hey, the action is over on Twitch. If you can join, I understand that's not possible for everyone. You know, it's not, and that's fine. So however you're taking it in, hello, welcome. My name is John Reed. I am a coach, but I've been a coach, kind of a part-time coach. Started as teaching and then speaking and coaching. And right now, I am actually trying to get back into the game of iOS development. So if you go to my website, qualitycoding.org, where I normally have a big subscribe button, there is a big red hire me, which goes here, which has my resume and some other things. So I ask, please share this with folks. Here's a funny thing about trying to get a job. You know my specialty. My specialty is testing and the stuff that comes from it and the stuff that it makes possible and the stuff that you need to do to make it possible. My ideal job is to get back in as a coder with a team. But because they want me, not because they want just some another coder, but the recruiters don't care. It is not on their radar. Nobody's asking for, like, we need a unit testing expert or a TDD expert. Nobody's asking for that. So my request of you, and then we'll get into the coding, is what would really help me is to be able to chat with people who are not recruiters. And this means getting in sort of the back door and having an informal chat with maybe you, maybe your manager, maybe your director. Just real informally to understand each other better, to understand me better, what I bring, and hopefully, there's a company out there that really needs me. So that's enough of that. Let's get into the code. Where are we at? Let's see. In our discovery tree, we are working on mastermind, one color to tap. Actually, it's more like two color. You can tap between two colors. Tap color sets guess hole, add second choice. That's where we are. We are adding a second code, and this brought up the interesting thing. So for folks who are joining, we're doing test-driven development of a SwiftUI app, a simple game. And so far, the code, the TDD we've done, and the coding we've been doing has been at the view level, targeting, really starting at the view and not at the domain concepts. But we discovered the need for a domain concept down here. Unique code choices to select from a list of code choices to say, I want two of those and I want to assign indices to them. So let's see where that is. Code choice tests. What have we got? I just want to review here. We've got generate one code choice from red, blue, take one. Yielding that. It might be easier to compare this if we do it this way. From red, blue, take two. Okay. So what happens if I say take three? That's an error. And I think that's why I marked it as a try. Let's take a look at the generate code. Yep, we've got an error sort of hiding in there as something, I think, hello, Eric. I think Copilot may have tossed that in there, and I don't want to accept stuff from Copilot just without thinking about it. And especially not everything until a test asks for it. So let's put this. Oops. Nope. Come on down here. So we want assign indices we've done. And the next is that. Come on, arrows. Get with it. Something like that. All right. That should be fairly simple. I did think about switching over. Right. That's when we get it. That's when it should just throw an error. I thought about switching to Swift testing. There is a problem with that. And that is that we are using View Inspector, and View Inspector uses an XCTest expectation. So until View Inspector supports a Swift testing way of doing things, I have to stick with XCTest. So let's add a new error. This is generate one code choice, generate two code choices, or yeah, that's good. And the last, hello. Hey, Kundalini bro. Welcome, first time chatter. Is this a new app that we can code along with you? Well, whoops, don't have it positioned right. Get in there. Here it is if you'd like to play with it. Have at it. You bet. So let's test. Whoops, test. It's like the John Reed method. Not enough colors is an error. Right? There are not a notch. So I want to do this, and I want to say take three. And that should yield an error, which this right now is not good enough. Because what we want is for assert throws error. Let's see if we can't do it this way. All right, here we go. That should be a failing test, that it expected an error, but it didn't get one. Always check the results of your tests, not just that it failed, but how it failed. Did not throw an error. Good. All right. Let's get into code choice. So looks like this is what we want, but we need to make an error for it. Look at that, like that. Struct enum. Yeah. All right, now we should go green. Yay! Commit this. So this is a small feature. Copying and pasting didn't really save me anything. And I'll push it. So you got it. You can pull it if you want to keep up, or you can code on your own. So that should take care of that. And I can't think of anything else. I guess let's take a look now. Let's think about refactoring. Is there anything in here that I want to change? The tests are very clear, I think. Take one, there it is. Take two. So that gives us what I'm seeing here is 1, 2, and 3 from two inputs is that we're taking care of all the boundary conditions. Hang on a second. Where's my mute button? When you have something that's a greater than, a less than, a greater than, equal, less than, equal, it's important to get, I like 3 values. The one right on the fence, and then one on either side, if that makes sense. One right on the line. And so guard. Now I'm looking at refactoring this now. Is there anything in here? And I don't think so. Yeah, I could extract the red blue, but I don't think it would help, especially because the tests themselves express red and blue. So it's like, where do those come from? I kind of like those right there. So I think the repetition is fine. Anything here? These don't belong here. I think they came along for the ride when I did a cut and paste. Okay. So now that we have, let's take a look at the tests. The nice thing about tests is they act as specifications. Well-written tests are specifications, and we just end up with a bunch of specs, which is why in BDD style testing, they're called specs. BDD style testing frameworks, I should say. So we've got, we're going to get an array of code choices. So I also need, like, what is the full list of them? And we need to generate from that list however many we want. And that should give us, each code choice is a color. Oh yeah, that should be the same as what we had before, so it should be okay, right? We've got brown and so forth. Code choice generator. Why don't I start just assembling a whole list of them? Brown, black, blue, green. Brown, black, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, orange, red, gray. If those are all the colors, now we should be able to get the code choices. Game screen. For each of the code choices. I should now be able to say code choice generator, generate from code colors, and take one should be the same. Ooh, here's a thing. It can throw, can't do this out here in space, basically. Let's think about this. When do we want to create this list, and who should manage it? Somebody's going to have to do this. Right now, it's out here in global land, and that's not going to work. So that's interesting. I don't know who should. It doesn't feel like the game screen should do this, but it could do this. The player is able to change the number of colors. It's like we need a game configuration or game settings. Yeah. Yeah, something out at the app level that says we're going to set things up. All right, let's record these thoughts. App choose color. It's like really is kind of app settings, I think. At least at first. We may discover otherwise. So we've finished this off, but discovered the need for something more, and that was just by trying to use it. That's interesting. So let's keep going here with some sort of app settings. And I'm just going to pull it. Changing the number of colors should probably reset the game. So maybe it is the game itself. Right? We have a game screen, yeah, it's game state. Which I kind of want to call game. Okay. That's not too surprising considering that we have a game screen. It's okay to have a game, isn't it? Game controller. I'd rather avoid, it's not a, I don't know what it's going to be. It's still too early to say. So let's go with a simple name. And I'm just going to put it in here. And since this is game state, it really needs to be an actor now. I do have an interesting blog post coming out on Tuesday where I wrestle through. I worked on Swift 6, porting a sample app from to Swift 6, and for a while there, about tore my hair out because I'm new to this stuff. This is one of the challenges I have of getting back in as an iOS developer, is that recruiters will look at my resume and see whatever cool stuff this guy has done over the last 3 years. I don't care. I see he hasn't been a developer in the past 3 years. It actually does impact me because I need to get back into feeling things come out of my fingertips. And one of those things was adopting Swift 6, and learning to do that. So my blog post, where I went nuts for a while, and then the door opened to me. Things started to just click into my brain, and I realized this could be an interesting blog post if I make it a conversation between me and Swift 6. So that's how I wrote it up. That'll be coming out on Tuesday. So let's make an actor called Game. And let's move this. Well, not move it into it. And let me set this back to that. Just so we're okay. Now, this is not going to work. There needs to be a try. Will it accept that? I don't think so. Because, yeah, it is sitting there like that. So we'll make it an init. You may be wondering, where's the TDD? Right now, I'm having, I'm basically just trying to create an idea. I want to use this over in the game screen. So really, I'm doing refactoring at this point. I want to create code choices that I can pass in here. Will you have a concurrent access to shared state? If the game will be generally on a main thread, I guess class will be enough at this moment. What's your opinion? Also, class can be easily become observable and passes as environment object in SwiftUI. Ah. So I'm reaching for actor first just because I got burned by making it a class. But you're saying maybe I don't need to think about that yet? Especially if it is an environment object. That is a good thought. We'll follow it step by step and we'll see where it gets us. So right now we can't do this, but we can if we initialize it. That. There. Now we should be able to create it, to create the game, and say, what are our code choices? There's nothing using this yet. The only thing that's using this right now is the tests. There's nothing using this yet, but I want to get this in. This is the paranoid part of me. At this point, since I don't really know what it is, and it is sort of setting up for refactoring, but it's not really in use yet, I'm going to mark it as a risky feature because it's code that's sort of blopped in. All right. Oh, we've got a few more folks. Hello. And welcome. So right now, our game screen is using code choices, this hard-coded thing, which is what we want to get away from. Also, if anything is using this, we want to get away from that. There's probably, I suspect this is in use by a test. Maybe, maybe not. One way to find out is simply to run the test. Well, one way to find out is to inline it. Okay, I guess we don't need that at the moment. So that's removing dead code. Get that. Proof of concept. You know, you could make up your own things. This is totally flexible, right? It's just text. Yeah, I suspect game is going to hold more and more information. That was a remove dead code. Okay. Code choices is in use. let's start at the tests. Guess I could have gone here. Code choices is used there. So really what I want is to make a game Let me try to express this. If we say let game equals game, and you know, I think it would be nice to say what are the number of choices. Like that. Because it may be, yep. There we have it. You know, later the player will get to choose, but right now that's not a feature. Right now we are hard coding it. But I kind of like the ability for the test to say, here's how many we're working with. So let's now treat this as something we can work with. And game is sitting out here in code choice. It's kind of funny. What was the error? It's the number of code choices. So that's framing that should work. Mm-hmm. Yep. Maybe it's a game configuration. Right now, the game configuration is a single integer, so it's not worth pulling out. Exactly. From this, I want to say, I want to replace code choices with game code choices. And I have no qualms about using a hard-coded zeroth index there because it's guaranteed. And if that's not going to work, this will throw an error and the test will fail. Code choice, code choice. And this happens to work only because code choices is this, which comes from, which is the same as what we get from this color brown. So far, so good. The test passes. Wrong test. The test is now using the game. So let's get this in. Uh-oh. I lost my keyboard for a second. I'll mark this as a feature that game takes number of code choices. Hello, first time chatter, Tommy SE. Good to have you. Doing test-driven development for a SwiftUI app. So our test is now free of the out in space global code choices. It's making a game. A link if you want to follow along from the beginning. I'm not sure what you mean. You can, I mean, you could go back in history and look at the commits. That's a lot of commits. But you could play through those if you wanted to. I did, yeah. How many commits do we have, out of curiosity? We have 100 some commits. So I'll take a look. Oops, come back here. And that, there, if you go to my YouTube channel, which is at Quality Coding, you can find all sorts of things, including every live coding session in this series and other series, and various other things I make. Live coding happens to be the one that I'm doing the most right now, but now it's starting to trickle out into blog posts. I'm really, wow, I got so on fire with writing. I've got so much now I need to write. It's great. Let's go to the game screen because it is using code choices and it needs the game passed in. How are we going to do this? So this is where Eric, you were saying class can easily become observable, or it could become an environment object. And maybe, okay. Take a vote here. You're racing ahead of me, Eric. So the game screen needs the game. And the game right now, if we imagine a little bit, and this is just guessing, right? This is until code becomes realized, design is guessing. But there's nothing wrong with guessing. I'm imagining that the game will hold on to, will have state besides just the number of choices. First, the number of choices, well, yeah, it's like you want every play. It should hold the guesses. It should contain the results. Maybe not it, but something it holds. Oh, thank you, Mudshark. I missed that question. So App Store, here's a question. Who are the tests for? The tests are not for the user. Users don't care about tests. Then who are they for? They are for the company, basically. Whoever's producing the code ought to care about the tests, and that includes the developers. That's not restricted to the developers, because the reason we want tests is not just to have tests. The reason we want tests is to be able to make fast changes. And the reason we want fast changes is to be able to ship quickly. That makes sense. So start with it as an observable? Maybe. Let's figure out what this looks like. If we start out here and I create the game first and then pass it in as an observable, what does that even look like? You know, it's like, I want a game. All right, let's note this. This is done, but the next thing we need, so new domain concept, I'm going to say the domain concept is check. Now we're trying to massage it in. Have, this is what we want now, right? Is this where I fire up cursor? And try not to get tangled up in what it thinks. No. I'm not ready to do that. I've got some other chats in there. Yeah. Let's pull game out first into its own home. Yeah, for starters is a good idea. Start simple, grow it as we need to. I agree. So let us say it is, actually it's not, here's a thing. Here's a thing. The state is private. Hmm. What do you think of this? Will that work? Well, we should pass in the game, right? I don't want it to create the game. To pass it in. It will tell us if we're correct. Ah, Okay, one more thing to fix up. It won't let me do that. Is it because of the try here? I bet it is. Let me just force it. Will that be happy? And that doesn't look happy. Still following other errors. Okay. Wish I didn't have to do this. I don't like chasing errors. Let me back off, because right now we're broken and I want something that will keep us in green. Like, what if there's a convenience in it with no parameters? Can we do that? Or what if there is a, like that? Boy, I'm really messing things up right now. This is just number of, I can't see. Number of parens. There. Yeah. Okay. Just trying to get to green. Here's the thing. People talk about compiler-driven development, and that's sort of what we're doing right now. We're chasing errors. The problem is you never know how long that game is. How long until it's fixed? You're going to keep chasing and chasing and chasing, and it's broken the whole time, and that goes against sort of an internal rule I keep for myself, which is we ought to be able to ship whatever changes we have and push them up to main, especially if we have something that's in progress, that's not done yet, and there's an emergency. We need to work on something else. Like there's a bug, and it's not drop what you're doing. It's wrap up what you're doing. Always stay shippable. So in fact, this is fine. And that's also good. Let's try the tests. Okay. Oh no, really? I can't tell if we have internet problems. Whew, looks okay. Hopefully I'm back. Let me know if I'm still alive. I'm just gonna keep it going. This is okay. Phew. Just a hiccup. Great. This is a surprisingly small change. Apologies. I don't know if Kaiser FM, if I actually owe you an apology or not. But for everyone's information, folks who have been here before and have chatted, and I've gone through and added you to the moderation list as like you can post links, then you can post links. New folks don't get to, not right away. Game screen as a game. Push is good. Okay, phew. All right, now let's see if we can't improve this. Well, one thing we want to do is move game out. One thing I want to do is move game out into its own thing. It's fine. Right now I'm trying to get rid of this, so I think until this goes away, I'll keep it there. Okay, so the game screen takes a game. So the issue was the where it got bogged down was in the preview. Maybe I can just pass in a game like that. Will that be okay? That should be okay. And then I should be able to see two. No? Not yet? A little bit of a surprise. I expected to see two code choices. Oh, I'm not using the game yet. I'm only passing it in. All right. Mm-hmm. Will it now? There it goes. There it goes. Oh, it's backwards. Interesting. We want the first color at the bottom, so that should be reversed. Hey, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. All right, let me just kind of how to do this. I'm trying to strategize how to get this in commits that makes sense. If I pass the game screen there, then I also need to do the same thing for actually playing the game at the app level. And now, so this is just moving the default argument out. Yeah, I do want to reverse it. But I think I should be able now to get rid of this and have tests pass. And that's good. That's good. Let me revert this for a second. This here, that's an interesting change. And I want to have it be its own thing. So I'm not a big stager when it comes to Git. I tend to use Git in the very simplest way. So at this point, this is a refactoring of move default arg to callers. Now, now I think I want a test that says the order they show should be in reverse order. And to get there, this is something that I've kind of wanted to get away from in this test in the first place, is that the initial peg, the initial color of guess, we know it is something else. Let me set this up. Test. Like that. The initial guess should be empty. And that we get by, slap this in here. This, of course, will pass because that's the same as that. Does need main actor these days. So this will pass, but I want it to say, what is it? Let me get there by turning this into, I'm going to let the test guide me and have it tell me what I'm basically doing a characterization test right now and asking, move out of the way so I can see. unselected. That this should be color unselected. So the test should be initial color guess is unselected. Good. Hey, go away. Oh, Xcode. The test passed. Would you please hide all issues? Or no. Clean test results. All right, so we've got duplication, but I'm not worried about it. These don't have to be vars. Is there any other refactoring I want to do here? This is unused. So this is now the arrange act assert. That's good enough. Let me get this in. This is a test only change. So it is very low risk. Test for initial unselected choice. See, with that in place, I don't need this anymore. I can get rid of this assertion. And I wanted to do that because now we want to add more tests. Code choice. This color should be unused. Let's make this color optional. Oops. Come back. Trying to move you. Move you. So that it captures the color. There we go. That should be better. Just it's a little simpler. It's probably still a little too verbose, but it's better. So this is also a test-only change of simplify, remove precondition check from screen test. Because I want another test that says with two choices, this is the order they should be in. This is interesting. And I think I'd like that before I do any checking of what's the initial guess. So up here, I want code choices. Basically, what am I trying to say? They're listed from bottom up. There's probably a better way to say that. code choices. Do. Maybe there's a better way. All right. Let us get 2 choices in there. I'd rather, yeah, I don't want to say sorted inversely. I want to try to keep test names, programmer basic. I want to keep programmer vocabulary out of test names and instead use domain or product vocabulary. Code choice 1. Code choices. Display code choices. Bottom up. I don't know. Okay, let's see if we can't express this. What do I want to do? I want to tackle a new part of this. I want to inspect it. This is gonna get a little hairy, but that's all right. Why does it keep going back there? I'm trying to get to the full game screen. Oh my gosh. Show me the game screen. Fine, I'll mark it as try. Are you happy? Here. Okay. I need to get at this for each, basically. And so that's going to need an ID. Or we have, I'm not sure how for each works in View Inspector. Let's find out. So this is tests as documentation. Value 1, inspect for each text string. Oh, for each text 0, interesting. The 0th text inside the for each, where we're looking at, never mind that. Let's do this step by step. First, let's try to get to the for each, and I'll do this longhand. A Z stack and an H stack and a V stack. Gross, but let's do it. Start slow, John. So when you're targeting something that already exists, the easiest way to do this is step by step and get feedback on, can we get to the Z stack? Yes. Can we get to the H stack? Yes. No. The answer is no. I don't really want to navigate piece by piece, but can I get straight to the for each? Does it take an IDs? Because I don't know. I don't think it does. Forget the Z stack and the H stack and the V stack. Let's get to the V stack, because that is the list of colors. Like that. Let's see if we can't get there. Find. That wasn't it. Code choices. Let's try this. Good. This should have a for each. No. The heck? How do I get there? Is it the V stack? Yes. Now is it the for each? Yes. Okay. Phew. And can I say for each, and then the code choice view has the code peg. It's not a peg. I mean, maybe it is kind of. Maybe code choice. Brr. Anyway, don't think about renaming right now. What's the easiest way to get at the value? There is some way in View Inspector of turning an inspected view back into the type so that you can verify its state. Actual view. Let's try that. Didn't like that. We can do this. We can do this. And this will probably be the last thing we do before a retro. For each. I mean, I don't want to deal with how it's defined. I just want its code choice. I want this. I'm still reluctant on using View Inspector because it requires you to add strong identifier on a view, which is technically a modified production code for test purposes. Here's why I don't have a problem with that. You should already be doing this if you have UI tests. Have identifiers on all sorts of anything you need to test. And the reason I am not reluctant to do it is to support testability. I'm really not shy about adding stuff into production code to make it easy to test. The for each example here, it looks different from what I expect, or from what we were looking at here. This creates a view with for each, turning this into text. Inspect for each. I can't do that because I need to get at the specific one. I'm just trying stuff here. Doesn't like that. Button. Oh. Oh. VStack. Let's back up here. Back up, back up, back up. Reason I had for each here is because the stack itself is a thing. Let's see if this will work. Okay. Okay. Didn't like that. Is it like this? The indexing is a little funny. What's the error? Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't make me reach into the button. I don't care, but we'll do it if it helps us move forward. It's actual view, the first view rendered by code choice view. No. Let's take a look at actual view. Is it a view or a button? Well, it's okay with button. I really don't expect this to work. Well, might have to call this and come back to it. I'm looking at the time and I'm feeling my brain start to fry. I'm just making stuff up right now. This is where View Inspector is finicky, but it is the best tool we have. And it's just a matter of learning, just like anything else. Well, this is... Ooh, it's not finding the button. I didn't notice it was failing. I'm getting that tired. Come on. No number like that? Nope. I'm getting tired. Trying to get back to green so we can commit and continue. And what is this? I'm sort of raced ahead here. I'm going to put in a marker here to say show color choices bottom up. That is where we are. Let's call it. Let me get this in. Now, one trick that you can sometimes use is to put in a failure and commit it, but then I don't want to push it. But maybe if I don't push this, how about that? I'm the only one here. Let's put in a note and say, there. And I won't push it. Disable it. Yeah, I'm still wondering about that. I like that better, Eric. You're right. It's I'll keep that in. All right. This is a work in progress. So this is starting work on a feature, but work in progress to test colors show bottom up. Cool. All right. Good progress. Thank you for joining today. And oh, wait, retro. Retro. What did we do? Avoid break by using temporary default param. Default arg. That's one trick we did. We cleaned up keep cleaning tests as we learn. And the struggle with view inspector for each is where we are. All right. Any other thoughts to put into the retro for this time? Anything else you observed? Any outstanding questions? Any observations? Any aha moments? No, that's fine. Quick reminder. Hire me. All right, there we go. It's right on time. 90 minutes of coding. Good stuff. Thanks for participating, all of you. Appreciate it. And we'll pick up from there next time and keep going, and we'll get view inspect. We'll figure this out, right? Hey. Next time, we'll keep going with wrangling view inspector so that we can TDD the colors showing in reverse. All right. Thanks very much. For those who are watching the recording, you know what to do. Train YouTube. And also, it's helpful feedback for me if you give it a like on YouTube. All right. Thanks very much. I'll see you again next week. Take care.